This is a quick update. Originally, this podcast started off as a duo. However, Mr. Difficult turned into an incredible ass, so I kicked his ass off and reemerged as I'm Difficult and Demanding Podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. Hello, how are you, my fans and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Now, before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, and Stitcher. So, download this episode, unplug from life, and dive all into episode 5 of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real. Today, I am discussing Make America What Again? Now, unlike the other people in your life, I actually care about what you think. So meet me halfway, take a tiny moment, and give my podcast in each episode a review rating. Welcome to the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Moreover, I hope to provide you with gut-wrenching laughter and a touch of wisdom. I'm difficult and demanding, but you can think about the possibility of calling me Tara. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. Now, as always, I am keeping it real, and I hope this episode doesn't get me arrested by the federal government. Thank God for the First Amendment. Today, I am discussing a profiteering president, me as a sex slave, and the forgotten being forgotten and fooled once again. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show, because I am ending it with plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my website with this episode's real talk questions. Hi, everyone. Today, we are talking about making America what again? This topic actually originated from a slogan that's called Make America Great Again. Over time, we've heard this several times, and it irritated me every single time that I heard it. And I took a moment to think about what is it that's actually disturbing me. And it's the words make and again, make and again, make America great again. And it runs through my mind, how can you make something great again that has never lost its greatness? So today I'm going to start off by talking about why I think America is great. And I have 3 reasons. The first is the 13th Amendment. And for those of you that don't know what the 13th Amendment is, it actually was the abolishment of slavery. Why is that important to me? Well, I am a beautiful Black queen, and I'm just trying to picture myself as a slave, and I'm having a very hard time imagining that because I am not built in any way, shape, or form to pick cotton or work in the field. I'm not even built to work in the house, to serve, to cook or clean. I would probably be the master's sex slave, or I would turn him into mine because I am not meant to work that hard. Yes, I'm smart. I'm beautiful. But cooking, cleaning, and picking is just not my cup of tea. So I would have voted myself the slave thought, that hole over there, if you don't know what that means. So the first thing I am grateful for is the 13th Amendment, and that I no longer have to worry about being a slave, a sex slave, a house Negro thought, or anything else like that. The second thing that I'm grateful for is the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment gave women voting rights, and the suffrage movement opened up doors of opportunity for women. I mean, when I look at myself, I'm Black and I'm a woman. I have 2 strikes against me already in this male-dominated world. So the women that came before me that paved the way for me to even have the opportunity to speak to you right now, it's humongous. It's monumental. Before the suffrage movement, women could not get an education. There was no career. We couldn't own property. We didn't have money. We had no legal rights. The only thing we can do was take care of the children, bear children, and fuck. Fuck children, take care of children, fuck. I mean, there is no way a woman with all the ideas and opinions that I have that I couldn't be able to vote, choose what I want to do, go where I want to go, wear what I want to wear, and I have to answer to someone. It's like, oh, hell no, you better get the fuck out of here. I don't think so. So again, the 19th Amendment, I am grateful for that. I mean, for a nation to abolish slavery when it's made so much money and then open doors of opportunity to a gender that was denied access to so many rights for so long. I mean, I think that's just phenomenal. And the third thing I am grateful for is, again, our president, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Why am I thankful for Franklin D. Roosevelt? Well, because of him, he proposed to Congress federal social relief programs. And basically what that stands for is welfare. Well, due to slavery, my family was very, very poor. And I came from a very impoverished, or as other people like to say, that's politically correct, a humble background. And due to those programs, my family and I were able to survive, and I was able to go to college, get a full scholarship based off of my intelligence. And it helped me get to where I am today. So yay for welfare. It was a vehicle that allowed me to be here to speak with you. So thank you, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and thank you, America. So America, to me, has always been and will always be great. This is a place that has pioneering thought and unlimited amounts of opportunity to all, if you choose to navigate the land and make the most of it. So making America great again is a complete farce. Now, for Trump to say, let's make America great again, he must have the impression that we have lost our greatness. For such a young country, we have accomplished so much and have changed the course of this world. So making America great again is straight, utter bullshit, complete bullshit. For good and bad, America's actions, or lack thereof, really impact yours, mine, and almost everyone's destiny in this world. And America is still a highly viable contender, if not the leading contender, even though things have taken an extreme political detour momentarily. You and I both know America is fucking awesome. So what in the hell is really going on with this MAGA shit? And if you don't know what MAGA is, it stands for Make America Great Again. What does he mean by MAGA? I mean, does it mean getting the richer richer? I mean, where do you go from here? So, I mean, for a man who has filed for bankruptcy continuously and is a multimillionaire, to say that America needs to be made great again, it's opportunist. I mean, it's creating opportunity. It's making a joke or light of what we've been able to achieve as a nation. I mean, what is not broken, you cannot. I mean, there's no need to fix something that's not broken. So what is actually going on? I mean, we have Silicon Valley, we have Wall Street, we have Hollywood, we have the largest military, we have the highest GDP, and we have closest to the highest, if not the highest, consumer spending and debt. So what the fuck is he talking about as far as make America great again? It's straight up fraud bullshit to advance his own personal interests and his business goals. That's all that it is. Each individual have fortune and misfortune. That's a part of life. I mean, it's life cycles. You have summer, you have winter, you have famine, you have feast. It's just the laws of life. And it's our ability as humans to adjust and adapt and to make our way through this. But what this gentleman has done, he has a self-serving agenda, and he's exploiting the weaknesses or the hardships of others to basically make his dreams or his goals come to life. I mean, for example, he's currently our president. He won. He was voted in. Trump's personal lawyer said that President Trump is the nominal head of federal law enforcement, that the president is legally unable to obstruct justice and can express his view on any case. Like, what the fuck is that? You are one, if not the prominent leader in this world, and your views, your opinions carry so much weight. It can sway the stock market. It can sway the value of a dollar. It impacts trade just from a single word, a statement, even a hint that he may be leaning in one direction versus the other. And he wants the ability to say whatever it pleases him about this case or the other, and think that he can get away with it. I mean, that's a straight up dictatorship. It defies what we are as a nation. I mean, we are a democracy. We are supposed to vote. We are supposed to have a say. Public opinion matters. And he wants the ability to get on Twitter and go tweet, tweet, tweet. This is what the fuck I think. And then change the course of justice to benefit him or to punish his enemies or to reward his allies. That is not what a leader does. A leader guides. They have presence. They understand balance and justice, and they take their role and responsibility serious. This motherfucker wants to go around and say, okay, you pissed me off today. Fuck you. You're going to jail. Oh, you told me how great I am? Here, let me make you a judge in a federal court. This is a complete mockery of what makes America great. The slogan, Make America Great Again, which got him elected, is what he is pissing on each and every time he is placing his opinions and views about our entire system, whether it be the executive branch, the judicial branch. It's insane. Now, Attorney General Jeff Sessions argued the opposite when they tried to impeach Bill Clinton. They basically said it's the president's job to preserve, protect, and defend our Constitution. Now, I'm not sure if President Trump knows what the Constitution is, but everything he's doing is contradictory to why this document was created and put in place. It's straight up cat and mouse game. It's like, look, I pissed on you. Catch me if you can. Oh, I pissed on you here. Catch me if you can. Oh, I just shut on that shit. You know why? Because I can. And what the fuck are you going to do about it? That is basically his approach. And that is a complete and utter fuck you to America's greatness. The fact that there's a lack of respect and this complete and utter disregard for us as citizens, for our history, for our Constitution, for our entire system. It is a complete fuck you. And I don't understand how it's possible as one of the world's prominent leaders that he can wake up every day, look himself in the face, and justify what he's doing. You may not know this, but I'm going to share some history with you. The statement, "Make America Great Again," actually comes from another slogan that was used from President Ronald Reagan. And President Ronald Reagan's slogan was actually called, "Let's Make America Great Again." That is what he used to run for president in the 80s. Now, when Ronald Reagan was using that slogan, "Let's Make America Great Again," we were suffering as a nation. We had a worsening economy with stagflation. Stagflation is basically high inflation with high unemployment and basically flatline demand. Flatline demand means we weren't moving in one direction or the other. It was just our economy was like it was in a tailspin or a whirlpool and it wasn't moving up or down. And he wanted to basically jolt everything. So Ronald Reagan used the slogan, "Let's Make America Great Again," to spark patriotism in the nation, to get us hungry and proud and get us working to get out of that slump. Now, Ronald Reagan did win the election. So when it came time for President Trump to run for election, he was looking for a great slogan. So he looked at Ronald Reagan's slogan and said, "Hey, this is a great way. This is a great thing. How can I tweak it to my benefit?" So he took off the word "let's" and he added the word "again." And the slogan went from "Let's Make America Great" to "Make America Great Again." Now, Reagan was dealing with an economy that had stagflation. Trump was dealing with, quote unquote, rescuing a nation from a great, charismatic African-American president. Those two do not even possibly compare at all. He was rescuing the United States from an awesome president, President Obama, even President Bush. He was going to make America great again to do what exactly? Because it doesn't make any sense. Now, why was he able to exploit this? Well, we had 8 years of our first colored president, and it ruffled a lot of feathers. So he is a man of opportunity. He sees people's anger and frustration and their lack of being comfortable, and he exploited it. And he planted a seed and he cultivated it and he grew that into something to make it seem like what his predecessor did and what they accomplished was nothing. And America needs to go back to what? I'm not sure, but whatever it is that he was trying to take our nation back to, it's a farce. So where do we go from here? I know where we're going to go from here. We are going to acknowledge the fact that President Trump is a genius. He's a shrewd opportunist. And here's the thing that you probably don't know, but I'm going to share with you. He actually service marked the statement, "Make America Great Again." Now, what does service mark mean? Service mark is like a trademark. That means he owns the slogan, "Make America Great Again." Now, how was he able to service mark that? Well, Ronald Reagan did not service mark, "Let's Make America Great Again." So again, being a man of opportunity, once he came up with the right slogan, told his lawyers to go and service mark it. So each and every time he says, "Make America Great Again," He wears a hat, make America great again. He wears a t-shirt, make America great again. Or he tweet, make America again, make America great again. And people go and purchase his merchandise. The man is making bank. He is getting paid. He is making moolah. Now, I don't know about you, but presidents typically do not make money off of leading this country. To lead this country is about honor. It's about sacrifice. It's about integrity. It's not about money, because if it came about money, then it takes away the meaning, the history of what we're built upon. But this gentleman is making bank. He is getting rich while being president. He's making money with his hotels. He's making money with the statements, make America great again. And it's all under the guise of he's doing this for the betterment of the country. No, he's doing it for the betterment of himself. And it's so miraculous and amazing. It makes me smile. It makes me giggle because it's so crude and in your face. It's so bold that you can't believe it's true. It's like walking in the house. Your spouse told you to meet you at the house at a certain time. You come home and you meet your spouse at home at a certain time and you see your spouse fucking somebody else. Like your spouse told you to come home at this time just so you can see them cheating on you with someone else. That's how bold it is. And it's so bold, you're like, this cannot be true. This cannot be real. This is not happening. It's my imagination. That's how bold it is. The man has balls, big balls, and you can't hate him for his hustle. He has a real grind and hustle, and he's getting away with it. And I don't think people realize, or maybe they choose to turn a blind eye because he is serving their agenda, whether it be the tax plan or whatever else is going on the wall that he wants to build. But he is profiteering. He was profiteering while he was campaigning, and he's a profiteer now while he is in the Oval Office. Now, how is that for some education? So if you didn't know, now you know. And if you have not figured this out, I am a mocha beauty with a banging body and an extraordinary brains. And let me tell you, those are the 3 B's: beauty, body, and brains. I like to toot my own horn. It promotes a healthy self-esteem. And I thought you should just fucking know. So now I want to shift gears, and I want to talk about, now that he is our president, how is he actually making America great again? A good portion of people in this country voted for this man because they believed in him, and they believed that their voices would be heard. They would not be forgotten. He would take care of them and bring, life back into their world and get them moving ahead and progressing. So what has he done since he's been in office to make America great again? Well, the first thing he's done is he strips 2 million acres from a Utah national monument for mining exploration of minerals. Now, for people who are miners, diggers, this is probably a wonderful thing because it gets them back working again. But here's the thing. When we were heavily mining years ago, it was heavily impacting the quality of life for the people living in those areas, for the wildlife living in those areas. It impacts the environment, mining, because it creates erosion, sinkhole formations, loss of biodiversity. It contaminates the groundwater, the soil, and surface water. So here you are, you're working again, but you're sick as fuck. Here you are, you're making money again, but your spouse or your loved ones are in the hospital dying of some new type of cancer or some new type of disease. You're making money again, but you can't go swim in the local lake because it's been contaminated. Now, I don't understand how people have forgotten about what it was like in this country during industrialization and during the manufacturing period. Now, I agree that served a great purpose in our country. It created a lot of jobs. It created a lot of opportunity. It created wealth for our nation. But due to technological advances, we moved away from that type of manufacturing and mining and let that go to other places that needed that opportunity to step up. And we kind of moved into another direction. So how do we balance a person's needs for food, clothing, and shelter to be able to provide for their family and also protect their health, public health, and the future of our country and our citizens? And I think it has to do with training. There was a time where, yes, factories and things like that were heavily prevalent in our country because that was the time, that was the technology then. But since we have advanced and our education has changed and things have evolved, those manufacturing practices have been shipped overseas, and it's been shipped overseas for a reason, because we have new technologies here that affords us the ability to have a better quality of life that doesn't impact the environment as such and doesn't impact the health and welfare of those around us, which preserves our future as America, our legacy. So what do we need to do with these people? I think we need to help them. We need to retrain them and get them into the fields that's closest to what they used to do so they can keep earning for their families. But to give people the idea, the notion that we're going to go back to the industrialization age, that's some whack, stupid ass fraud bullshit, because it's not true. It's not real. We cannot go back in time. We can't go back to living in motherfucking caves. So how is it possible that we are going to go back, open up a whole bunch of factories and pretend that we don't have computers and robots that can take care of that for cheaper costs? The reason why we have technological advancements is to lower the costs. If people want to dig for motherfucking coal and live like it's that time, then guess what? You really couldn't afford a car back then, because back then, manual labor paid for that, and labor's more expensive than a computer. So computer and technology have afforded people the opportunity to enjoy these luxuries that they were never able to have. So if you want to go back to digging in caves or digging in mines and all that, you can do that. But keep in mind, you are going to raise the cost of goods and services, and your quality of life is going to be impacted one way or the other. So you have two options. We can go back in time. You can start digging. And then the cost of goods that you've come to enjoy and to expect, you will lose because you're not going to be able to afford to pay for them because the prices are going to go up. Or two, you can understand, as with life, things change, things evolve. Like, when you're in your teens, you're shaped one way. When you're middle age, you're shaped another way. Shit changes. You can retrain yourself as close to what you used to do as possible, which is new technologies, new energies, maybe start installing, solar panels or things like that as close as possible. And you can reap the benefits of what technology has given us. You have to choose. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Because when people were dropping dead for unknown reasons and these companies were denying that they were polluting the environment and poisoning the local citizens from these factories and dumping, you wanted help then. Now all that's been cleaned up and those pollutions and those ways have been gotten rid of and we've moved to other ways. Now you want to complain like, okay, I don't have a job. I cannot work, but you have your health. So you need to choose. Do you want to be healthy and retrain and live a better quality of life? Or do you want to be sick with money and dead tomorrow? But again, the one question that we're asking is, how does stripping 2 million acres from a Utah national monument, how does that make America great again? America means all of its citizens. How does that make America great again? It makes him great to the people that he's going to help enrich, and makes the other lawmakers that supported this great because they give their campaign donations. But when it comes to citizens, our wildlife, and our environment, and the people who are dropping sick and dead from all this mining, because we want to be one of the energy dominant leaders at any cost, how does this actually make America great again. I think we need to focus on our core strengths as a nation, and that's pioneering thought, technological advancement, and coming up with ingenious ways of improving the quality of life for our nation and the world. And I think we need to stick with that and help educate people on the facts of life. Things evolve, things go in cycles, things change, and you have to be able to adapt with that. And I think that's what we need to focus on, is changing how people think and helping them see the different opportunities that are in front of them and help them being able to adapt to those changes so they don't fall behind. Now, here's another thing. He was elected to make America great again. And he promised the forgotten, the unheard, the unfortunate, the suffering, that they would have a great tax cut. And he will implement a new tax plan that will put more money in his voters' pockets. And his voters' pockets. And his voters are the people who feel that they've been forgotten. Now, this new tax plan that they have is going to create $1 trillion in finance deficit with these tax cuts. And to pay for these tax cuts and the deficit that it's going to create, they have given a promise that economic growth will cover it. This shit sounds crazy as hell. Let me give you an example. You have two people who are extremely dehydrated. And one person, well, both people are looking at a cup, and this cup has water in it. Now, these two people are trying to figure out, you know what? What are we going to do? Naturally, you think, you know what? We should split the water half and half. You take half and I take half, and at least we'll both be better off. That would be the human, compassionate, respectful thing to do. But then you have one person who says, you know what? How about this? You give me the whole cup of water. You let me drink that water. And then after I drink that water, I promise you, I will go and find you some water. I don't know when. I don't know where. I don't know how. But if you give me this cup of water, I swear to you, I promise you, I will bring you at least 2 cups of water for you to drink. Now, how the fuck does that sound? That shit sounds stupid as hell. Someone's giving you a hope, wing, and prayer that they are going to bring you some future water. They don't know where they're going to get the water from. They don't know if the water is actually drinkable. They don't even know how long it's going to take, but you're supposed to give off your portion of the water for some future shit that is not, you don't even know if it's going to work or how it's going to pan out. You'll be dead by the time you get the water. So how does this tie back into this tax plan? Well, there's no guarantee that these tax cuts that these corporations are getting are actually going to go back into development, into research, into expansion and jobs. There's no guarantee or benefit that they're going to raise wages or benefits for employees. There's no guarantee of anything. The only guarantee is that these companies, these corporations are getting their money straight up front. And that's some badass shit where you can give a tax cut, give people money up front, and then tell the people who motherfucking voted for you that, hey, your shit's coming soon. I promise you it's coming soon. You know how it's coming? You're going to have better jobs. There's going to be more jobs. You're going to have better pay. He can't do shit about what the fuck your boss or employer pays you, how much they pay you. They can lay your motherfucking ass off tomorrow. And what is that tax cut going to do? That tax cut's not going to do shit. It's going to make the people who got the money keep their money and keep doing what they're doing. There's no incentive for them to spend, to invest, unless they choose to do so. And again, if I'm spending money and I'm investing, that's to make me more money. That's not to make you any more motherfucking money. It's to make me more money. And I can hire another one of you. So again, how does this make America great again? It really doesn't. Because if the economy does not cover the tax cuts and growth, then they're going to end up cutting Medicare and Social Security to make up the difference. So if you're fucked today, your ass is going to be trained fucked tomorrow, because we're going to have more debt that has to be paid for. And the only way that's going to be paid for is cutting benefits. It's cutting spending on different things that you benefit from. So who you voted to help you today, to help make America great again, is actually robbing you. He's robbing you in your face. He's turned the lights on. He's introduced himself. He's given you his name, his number, his social security number, and his address. And he's basically told you, fuck you to your face. And he's made a fool of you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it, because you believe someone on their words and you did not look at their actions, their history. Just because someone's been successful in the business world doesn't mean that they're going to be successful in a political career. And to be a leader, you have to have integrity. You have to be respectful. You have to act in accordance with the role that you're playing. And you can't take that. You can't take that for granted, because you have to show people this is how it's done and this is how you behave. Now, the Republicans believe with these tax cuts and everything else like that, that we should have a smaller government. And I'm not sure if you know this. Smaller government, lesser taxes, means there's less money to spend on our nation overall. Who's going to pay for the roads that you drive on? Who's going to pay to enforce laws when these companies are poisoning your backyard, that's killing your babies, who are basically making you work for slave wages, who are basically not giving you benefits? If there's a smaller government, who is going to enforce these people to do the right thing? Because as you can see from our leader, our president, he can't even do the motherfucking right thing. So how can you trust corporate giants who are out to enrich their shareholders, rightfully so, but they're not going to look out for you? That's what the government was supposed to do, is to add checks and balances. Because as people, we are perfectly imperfect. And when people have the opportunity to have money and power, 9 times out of 10, a motherfucker's going to do the wrong thing, and they're going to do the shit that benefits them and the people who are in their entourage who are loyal to them. And the rest of you, they're basically going to tell you, I peed on you, fucker. Get the fuck out of my face. Go to hell. Good luck to you. You're lazy. You don't deserve anything, because if you deserve something, you would have something. And since you ain't got shit, you ain't gonna get shit, and fuck you. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So if there's no one to look after corporations, to look after the welfare of their employees and the public health and the environment, you're fucked. We're going to have beat up roads like it's a third world country. Everything else, police, firemen, everything else is going to be impacted. So who is going to pay for that? Who is going to provide law and order if we don't have the taxes and money to pay for it? Corporations are not going to pay for that shit. If the corporations have to pay for the police, the emergency services or things like that, that's basically, you might as well hire the motherfucking mob to do that, because they're going to hire and do things to benefit their enrichment, not for the public. That is why you need a healthy balance with government and capitalism, because people just can't do right. And if they do right, they can't do it for long. And it's just self-serving all around. I'm sorry. So again, that is why this show is called Make America What Again? Because you can't make something great that's already motherfucking great. You just leave it be. You lead it, you steer it, you cultivate it, and you help the people who are a part of it. You help them, bring them along into the direction it's going. Just like you can't stop Mother Nature when she decides she wants to have a tsunami and she wants to drown a motherfucking city. You can't do anything with that energy or force that's coming with that tsunami. All the fuck you can do is get out of the way or ride the motherfucking wave. And that's exactly what we need to teach people in our country to do. Is you can't change the momentum of where things are going. You can steer it and guide it and try to make sure it stays on the right track. But if things are going well and things are going good, you hop the fuck on the boat. You hop the fuck on the surfboard and you ride that motherfucking wave to advance your family and to advance this country. As long as we are not putting people in concentration camps and doing horrendous things, If the direction of this nation is going towards technology versus digging and mines and manufacturing jobs, then you know what? We need to uptrain our people, educate them, and steer funds so that they are equipped for the new day and age and where we are headed. So I want to close this out with, first, thank you. 2, we don't need to make America great again because this shit is already right. It's been right. And when something is wrong, we have the courage and balls to fix it and nip it in the bud. And that's what makes America what it is today. That is why so many people are clamoring to be here. And that is why I feel so blessed to have been born here and still be here today, because I'm able to talk with you and share this type of information with you. If I was someplace else, this would be illegal. So we don't need anybody to help make America great again, because America is already motherfucking great. You can't do anything with it. But what we need to do is vote for a person who respects and understands our history and what this nation was built upon and what was catalyst for our success. And we need to make sure that that person that we vote into place will help enhance it and take it to the next level, instead of chopping it off at the motherfucking head and cutting us off at the motherfucking waist. Because by the time he's done over the next 3 years, I'm afraid of what we have left. But I know that we have a heart, we have a big heart, and we can bring this shit back on course to where it belongs. Thank you, and please join me next time. Are you disappointed this episode has come to an end? Well, I am keeping it going with my real talk questions. One real talk question is, why do you think America's great? Email me your real talk answers and let me know what you think about this episode by rating my show and commenting on my website. My next ridiculous episode is called, Oh No the Hell You Didn't. The release date for episode 6 is December 29th, 2017. Finally, I am closing this show with some real talk. Where you start out in life or where you accidentally end up doesn't determine shit. The greatest thing about America is that it affords you opportunities and small stepping stones to steer your life in the direction of your choice. It is up to you not to get caught up in other people's bullshit or your current fuck-all circumstances. You have to have a longer view and realize your circumstances are temporary if you want them to be. But you have to get off of your ass, get your fingers out of your ears, and take your fucking blinders off to see what the fuck is really going on in your life and in our country. You've got to stand up sometimes and pull people's card and call bullshit when you see it. You have to judge people and circumstances on what is being done and not on what someone is saying to you. Talk is cheap. And I ain't motherfucking cheap. For example, what does make America great again actually mean? I mean, in my mind, I would drop the make and again, and I would get America is great because America is great. MAGA means nothing and everything. It's a play on words to invoke a personalized fantasy within a person. There's always going to be a winning and losing side. The trick is to keep ahead of the curve. If you were told up front that cutting taxes for the rich would make America great again, would you buy it? As the forgotten and unheard, would you have voted for President Trump? Toxic manufacturing business practices and irresponsible mining exploration have killed communities and haunts people's health till this day. Since courageous and responsible citizens and politicians have made things better, is it now time to start polluting and killing again? When things are better, people have a short memory. To stop being the forgotten and unheard, you have got to look beyond what is being shown or told to you. When someone or something shows you who the fuck they are, then believe that shit. Don't try to change it to what you hope it will be. You thought Donald Trump would improve once he stepped into the Oval Office. He showed you who he was and who he will be from the beginning. But you were living off of a hope wing, and a prayer. Blatant disregard and disrespect are the catalyst for mayhem and disasters of epic proportions. Politics is just really a magic show with tricks. The politicians are showing people what they want to see or making you guess, is this what you really motherfucking thought you saw or heard? Do your own research. Yes, research a motherfucker before you elect him or her into a role that could impact your life. Now, in closing, look at me. I come from very impoverished and dysfunctional circumstances. I was the first to go to college on a full educational scholarship and get a degree. So if you live in the SF Bay Area and you see a mocha beauty and a red G-Wagon, there's some proof for you. Do your own work. Learn how to think and start living life on terms that will progress you and your family ahead. How was that for some ridiculous honesty? For immediate episode access, engage with the show with a simple click to subscribe or follow and give this podcast and each episode a review rating. Until the next time. Now give my episode links to friends, family, and associates. Give it to your frenemies. Hell, give it to your enemies. Bring laughter to others and show your love for this podcast. Please subscribe to this show and tune in next time for another episode of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. If you would like to ask me a general question, provide your comments, or make a topic suggestion, then email me at difficultanddemanding@gmail.com. Please follow the show on Instagram at difficultanddemanding, Twitter at Mrs. D&D, and Facebook at I Am Difficult and Demanding.